Is it befitting for His Majesty and His majestic divinity to feel nacham or sorrow, regret?
Of course.
Because hold on. Let me finish my question. Yeah, regret, because regret comes from not knowing.
Okay.
That's my question, sir.
Okay. The key to that question, I love your question.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Art of course, only for this thing, my brother. They're there.
Why is the Jew? Is it a religion or is it blood? Jew. What is it?
Huh?
Yahud. What is it? Is it blood or is it a religion?
Right the name thing. Which one? Which one?
I need the name of that book so I can look at it.
Which one?
What did you just mention?
The invention?
There was two things you mentioned. You mentioned the invention of the Jewish people, and the second one was the 13th tribe, because we all know.
13th tribe?
Yeah, because Jacob, or Israel, had 12 sons, but the way he does the research, he looks at the DNA information as well. He says it's impossible for those who call themselves Jews today to be of the bloodline of Israel, which is Jacob.
Sam said if these people are Israelite, there must be a 13th tribe. That's why I'm about them, the 13th tribe. Yes, son. That was right from in the 70s.
Long time no see. Haven't seen you for
yes,
a while.
son.
Yeah.
And there's a book again by this. By the man with Ford company. What's his name?
You just like Easter eggs, I know.
There's a book by the man that owned the Ford company. Yes, son. Okay, this one that name Benjamin Freeman.
I've heard of him.
You know about Benjamin Freeman?
Yeah.
He was a Zionist. Okay?
He's a Zionist, yes.
And when he realized what they were doing, yes, son, he started to expose them. Yes, son, he started to expose them. They said they cannot attack me, why? Because I'm a Hebrew. Yes, son, they cannot attack me. They can't bring I'm anti-Semitic. No, they cannot because I'm Semitic. They are not.
Are you Hebrew?
Yes, son. Oh, they can't kill me. But I don't care them anyway.
Speak Hebrew.
Yes, son, get up and look into this now. He exposed them. Okay? He exposed the Zionist movement. He exposed what happened from 1916 when the first World War. Okay, what they do to get Palestine.
Can I ask you, who are you waiting for? You said someone is going to come back and lead you.
Wait, you say you're calling by the wrong name.
Genuine question.
No, you're calling by the wrong name.
You're the Messiah.
He's the Messiah. You're calling by the wrong name. His name not Isa. His name not Jesus. His name is Yeshua.
No, it's the language.
His name is Yeshua in Hebrew. It's Yeshua
What is your name, brother? What is your name?
No, in Hebrew,
Yes,
his
sir.
name is
What language is
Yeshua was his name.
No, no,
His name is Yeshua. It's not Isa and
Just to clarify, yeah. So you, as Hebrews,
well, that's the problem
Hebrew
we
Israelites,
have,
yeah.
because,
That's what you prefer to be called, yeah.
No.
Sorry.
I would say to myself as an Israelite.
An Israelite.
Because if we go into politics now, the Hebrew Israelites
I know it's because he said I'm a Hebrew.
No, I know why he said it, and I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying, if we're going to go on TV as we're doing now, I wouldn't want to be called Hebrew Israelite, because the Hebrew Israelites are seen as a terrorist
No,
group.
Yeshua is his name.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I mean, the way that you lot accept without any offense is Israelite, yeah.
Yeah, it's Israelite.
Alright, so as Israelites, yeah, you take the Old Testament 100%, yeah?
Sorry?
You take the Old Testament 100%, and you reject the New Testament.
No, not at all.
Okay, you keep the New Testament. All of it?
Because we believe in the Messiah.
Okay.
Yes, you have Hebrews who don't believe in the Messiah.
Alright, fine.
You have Hebrews that believe in the Messiah.
Fine.
Yes,
So you
sir.
believe that he's the Messiah, yeah?
Yes, he's
but
the
you
Messiah.
believe that the Father in heaven is the one God alone, just like Jesus professed it to be,
Of
yes?
course.
Okay, so can we explore a couple of verses from the Old Testament and what the Father speaks himself?
we are,
Can we do that?
no, we are not here about that, my brother. You understand? We are here about
Are you not?
this one. We are here about the carve of the lash for the house of Israel.
About the what, sorry?
That one, you go to a Christian with that one. You understand? We are here. This is what I'm saying. We are here. Okay.
Allow me to clarify.
Listen, listen. Every Shabbat, we're writing every day. Shema Israel.
Yeah.
Yahuwah Elohim. Yahuwah is Echad. That's what we say.
I'll read that
Okay.
in a bit.
Allow me to elaborate upon why I wanted to actually focus on a couple of verses of the Old Testament. Is not to prove the fact that Jesus is just a man, because obviously we can do that with Trinitarians all day long. That's no problem.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak to you about how you believe that the Father alone is the Father in heaven, yeah, and He's the omnipotent, He's the omniscient. Hold on,
Let him ride out.
So that God is the divine, yeah. He's the all-seeing, the all-hearing, the all-knowing, the all-powerful. the
Yahuwah
all-able.
is not God.
Yahuwah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
So
Okay.
what's it? Yeah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah. So in the Old Testament, in for example the chapter of Genesis, the first chapter of the Old Testament, Genesis, yeah, this is Yahuwah speaking. Yes. So what I wanted to focus on is a couple of verses in the Genesis, in the first chapter of the Bible, okay, to prove that through this text itself, the Lord that you profess as the Lord in the Old Testament is not divine, and he is insufficient. He has insufficiencies.
Okay, let's hear him out.
If that's all right, if you don't mind.
We can come back.
Listen, no, that's what I'm saying. We are not here for politics.
This is not politics.
Shahu, one of our pastors said, never debate. You understand? Never do this kind of thing.
Our pastor said.
You understand? We must not. The Creator warned us. We are not out here to debate. We were sent to the last bit of Israel. Okay? You see? Yeshua.
So your job is just to convey, not to debate.
It's a Yeshua.
That doesn't make sense.
It's a Yeshua. Okay,
part of the
okay. Read Genesis 14.
Genesis 14.
We don't want to debate, we just want to discuss with you.
We're not here for that, man. We're here for the last bit of Israel. Read Genesis 14.
Bereshit,
Yeah, Bereshit 14. Yeah.
I mean, would you be so kind if after you speak of that and you know, connotate whatever you want to on that I can go to the verse that I would like as well?
Yourself.
Sorry?
You've already said yourself that you want to prove and show that you want to break this belief that we have in half. So you already have your mindset of what you believe already.
Sir. Absolutely.
So what we're saying to you, nothing will change it.
Read Genesis.
That's all right.
The whole thing?
Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us. Do you know, sir, you've said a point. Can I go back?
We got to read scripture.
It's a dictatorship.
Read scripture. Read scripture.
It's a dictatorship.
And he came to be in the days of Amraphel, sovereign of Shinar, Ariok, sovereign of Elasar. He said 14. No, he said 14.
Okay,
18, okay. And Yahuwah appeared to him by the terebinth trees.
And Yahuwah appeared to him by the what?
By the terebinth trees of Mamre.
Yeah, you do know who Yahuwah? Do you know who Yahuwah?
Yahuwah. The one you said is your God, yeah?
No, I don't need God. He's the creator. Yahuwah.
This is Hebrew you are talking.
The creator is God, yeah?
Of course, the creator. No, listen, God, listen to me. You have many gods, my brother. Better use Elohim. Use Elohim. Okay? Use Elohim. Okay. No, use Elohim, my brother. You see, you have Buddha, you have every kind, you have many kind of gods, my brother. Okay? Okay.
I want to understand
is
something.
Yahuwah the supreme name for God?
Exactly.
For example, you have Elohim.
Okay. To clarify for everybody, we don't use the name God because in the Babylonian or the pagan understanding, God is the name of their God for fortune and luck. We don't deal in luck because we know that luck comes from the term Lucifer. We don't deal with Lucifer.
Shall we call him the creator then, as you said, yeah?
Well, he has a name.
And what's his
we
name?
found the name Yahuwah. So we deal with that. That's the only reason.
I'll speak for you in that context.
That's why we deal with
Could you
that.
please be so kind to open where Yahuwah speaks from Genesis 6:5?
Let's read that here, please.
Which one? Genesis?
Genesis 6:5 to Genesis 6:8.
Can I read this first?
Oh wait, I know where he's going.
You know where I'm going?
I know where he's going because he's saying because Yah regretted making his people because of their wickedness. I know what you're talking about.
That's great. I'm good. So we've got a bit of groundwork here. That's fantastic.
But that is.
Can we discuss this?
I just want to say on that particular point.
Could you read the verse before you speak?
No, we're reading this first.
Okay, do you want to read that first?
And then we'll go to that.
And then we'll go to that one. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
I understand where you're coming from with that.
Wicked. I appreciate that.
And Yahuwah appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre while he was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day. So he lifted his eyes and looked and saw three men standing opposite him. And when he saw them, he ran from the tent of door to meet them and bowed himself to the ground and said, Yahuwah, if I have now found favor in your eyes, please do not pass your servant by. Please let a little water be brought and wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree.
So this is the creator himself appeared to Abraham. And you are believing Abraham. Do you believe the creator appeared to Abraham?
Do I believe the
creator appeared to Abraham.
Appeared to Abraham.
Yeah.
We don't.
Huh? You don't. So no believe Abraham then.
Are you a Muslim?
You
don't believe Abraham?
Revelation.
It means by physical persons, like the angels appeared to Abraham in the Quran.
Revelation.
No, it doesn't mean revelation.
No, I say that if appears to physical. He said I'm appeared to Abraham physical. You don't believe that?
No, we don't.
You don't believe that?
No one can see God.
I cannot speak to these people.
No, you don't.
This was the son of the Mosai appeared to Abraham. Okay, this was Yeshua appeared to Abraham.
I know the verse. It's where the tree
Two angels and two angels and the man. Okay, go to Eve Proverbs 30.
Because you know that that Christians use this passage to try to prove Trinity.
We know that.
Listen, let's go
What was the verse that you were saying?
Yeah, it's Genesis 6:5. So I'm just waiting for them to be so kind to jump to that.
Genesis 18.
Proverbs 30. You said,
6:5. You were talking. No, you're going to 6:5.
Yeah, Genesis 6:5.
One second. Genesis back at the front. Just deal with this.
So this is the first chapter for everyone here as well. This is the first chapter of the Bible.
Okay, listen to this.
Of the Old Testament.
This is Proverbs. Were written by Solomon. Okay,
Why are we jumping to Proverbs?
do you believe in Solomon?
Why are we jumping?
Do you believe in Solomon? Do you believe in Solomon?
Yeah,
The Bible said, listen. The Bible said, this Bible reads line upon line, precept upon precept.
Why do we go to this, by the way?
Listen.
Yeah, I am listening, but I'm asking
Because the scripture said we must read the book line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little.
So I'm asking you to go to the first chapter of the book.
Listen what I'm saying.
Jumping.
Listen, no,
You're jumping halfway through
this
the
my
book.
this my book. They can't tell me how to do my book.
Okay, let him.
Okay, read Proverbs chapter 4, please. Read Proverbs chapter 4 and the Proverbs chapter 4.
Just jumping around.
No,
but
verse 4. Read verse 4.
Alright, can he go to his verse after you?
Yeah, okay.
It says, who has gone up to the Shamayim or the
Who has gone
heaven
to the heaven? Yeah.
and come down?
Yes.
Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth?
Listen.
What is his name and what is the name of his ben?
His name is son.
If you know.
If Solomon asks you a question, if you know the name of the creator, I son. If Solomon tells you the creator of a son, only don't believe the creator of a son. But Solomon is asking a prophet long before. I tell you, say, do you know the name of the creator, or do you know his son name? No, you don't know his son name.
God has sons
Yes,
by the tons.
Yes,
though, isn't
son.
it?
It does speak about one who's greater
how many people-
to rock the water in his garment.
How many followers of God, sir, were referred to in Scripture as sons of God?
Listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. If only don't believe in the creator, okay? You see, your creator is not my creator, okay? Your creator is not my creator. My creator creates all things. Okay, your creator is a different creator. So that's why I challenge the creator, okay? You see, you're wrestling the creator. All you're wrestling the creator. I'm not here to wrestle the creator, okay? So guess what? I am not here to debate no one. I finished my case now. I finished my case.
Can we go as promised now to Genesis 6?
No, you
He accepted to read.
Okay, read it.
Genesis 6:5 now, yeah? Be a man of your word.
No, read from verse 1.
Okay.
Genesis 6:5.
No, start from verse 1.
We're doing what the brother wants.
Yeah, then I have a question for you.
Then allow me to comment.
No, we're letting you.
Start from verse
Thank
1.
you.
Start from verse 1.
So we read it from Genesis chapter 1, from verse 1 down, yeah? It says, and it came to be when men began to increase on the face of the earth, the daughters were born to them. The sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men that they were good, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And Yahuwah said, my Ruach, or my spirit, shall not strive with mankind forever in his going astray. He is flesh. Yeah,
thank you.
he is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years.
Which verse is it we got?
This
We're
is
reading
Genesis,
from
he's reading
Genesis
6
6.
and he's gone from
verse 1. Very
Verse
first
one
one,
to-
very
so
first.
Genesis
Sure,
6
we get-
verse 1.
we
He's,
get
he's currently on
Sorry.
Genesis 6 verse 3.
Yeah. He is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of Elohim came to the daughters of men. Elohim, yeah.
So that's another name of God.
No.
Title.
Or it's an attribute.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
title.
okay,
It's
good,
not- it's not-
But it is an attribute of God. Okay, yeah.
It's just like it's just like your
Yeah, I
dad.
understand.
has a
I
name, and you call him
understand. I'm
dad
just
or father.
clarifying for my own.
Yeah. So he is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of Elohim came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, the men of name.
Okay, now everyone take heed to these next 3 verses, please.
And Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuwah was very sorry he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahuwah said, I'm going to wipe off man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping creature, and birds of the Shamayim, or the heaven, for I am sorry that I have made them.
So what's the problem?
Carry on. One more verse.
No,
please.
it's a 5, isn't it?
One more verse.
But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah.
Okay, let's stop there. So now, let's start from
No,
verse 5.
no.
Allow me to speak, please.
Okay.
Please. Thank you. So here, We said again. So, and Yeshua saw that the wickedness of Yahuwah, sorry, Yahuwah, yeah?
Yahuwah.
And Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of man was great on earth.
Yeah.
And that every inclination of which was evil all the time, or continually, as says, yeah? Fine. Because of this, now, a consequential thought, because of what God had seen, yeah? Sorry, you don't like to be say God, okay? Fine. The Creator had seen, he felt sorry because of this. Now, the word, the original word, in the language of the Bible, yeah? Do you know what it is for sorry?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so the word for this is Nacham.
Nacham, okay.
And Nacham itself, do you know what the meaning of Nacham is?
No, because I haven't heard that
No,
word.
that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Go on.
So the meaning of the original meaning of the word Nacham is exactly that, sorry.
Okay.
Now, do you believe that God is the omniscient, meaning the all-knowing?
Yes.
Okay, and he's the all-seeing? Because if he didn't see everything, he must not know everything.
Right.
Fair to say?
I'm
we agree on that
listening
point?
to what you're saying.
No problem. It's not a loaded question, I promise you.
No, it's not.
Fine.
I'm
okay,
listening
look.
to you.
All right. So now, God had, or the Creator had seen. He made the creation, number one. Number two, the creation became wicked.
Okay.
And number three, because the creation became wicked and God saw it, He wanted to.
Yeah.
He felt sorry because of this.
Yeah.
And because he felt sorry because of this, he wanted to wipe out the creation.
Yeah.
Okay? So what my problem is this.
Okay.
As someone of creation, I know that I am someone that can feel regret and sorrow in my life.
Indeed.
Yeah? I can feel nacham.
Okay.
Right? Can a creator really, does it befit, is it befitting for a creator, Jazakallah khair, is it befitting for his majesty and his majestic divinity to feel nacham or sorrow, regret?
Of course.
Because, hold on. Let me finish my question. Yeah? Regret, because regret comes from not knowing.
Okay.
That's my question, sir.
Okay. The key to that question, I love your question. I
appreciate that. Thank you.
Because
and thank you for giving me the patience to listen.
It's fine. Because we have to understand that when the Most High made us, He made us perfect.
He made who perfect?
He made us perfect. Man, He made man perfect. Yeah, He made us perfect.
He said it was good.
Yeah. But if we go to, hold on, let me make sure I get the right verse. You know, he's talking about for the transgression of Eve. It's Genesis 2, isn't it?
Sinless.
Tree, yeah. Just hold on, because I wanna, because you read from that part, but there's something that was key that happened before then, which then led to this.
That's fine.
So I'm just gonna
more than
show
happy
that,
to.
okay?
No problem. More than happy to.
Hold on. I want to make sure I give context, so I'm not just talking, so the scripture talks for itself. Okay, so we're going to go to the division of
so
chapter
we're now in
3.
Genesis 3.
Yeah, so this is before 6, because we was reading in 6 before, so we're going to read in 6.
No problem.
Okay, and he says, and the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, which is Eve, or I think the other name is Hawa.
Hawa, yeah.
It is true that Elohim has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden. So he's asking her a question. Are you sure that what the Most High told you was correct? So before this point, they were already working perfectly. But now the enemy comes and makes them think twice of what the Most High has actually told them.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
He said, and the woman said to the serpent, we are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said, do not eat of it nor touch it, lest you die. So these people are already working perfectly, but only now because the enemy who was banished from the Hashemeim, which is then talked about in Revelation, they start to question him. So we see here, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but
that's fine. Just for understanding.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when he first made us, he made us perfect, because he made Adam, and Adam said to the Most High, I'm lonely. So basically saying the Most High put him to sleep and made Eve, right? So then because Eve went against what the Most High said, this is where it's coming from.
Okay.
So when we now look at the wickedness...
Are you using the word, just to contextualize this, sorry.
Yeah.
Have you got the word nacham there?
No, not here. Okay. I've got it in my Hebrew book there.
No, I'm saying if you want to use the word nacham.
No, it's not here. It's not here.
So what are you exactly... I appreciate what you've
said. That use the English where they are.
But what are you trying to use to justify...
No, that justify nothing.
Because all you're doing now, without explaining to me or building up a picture of comprehension here, all you're doing is now promoting a contradiction and conflict between the two texts.
Not at all.
Until you have the opportunity
now. I'm saying, brother, that because man had fallen...
Yeah, no, I'm listening. This is what I'm listening.
Yeah,
and I'm going to answer.
And you saying because man was once perfect, and then has fallen. Now God had the right to wipe them all out.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
But didn't God know the future?
He did
know that it wasn't going to
and
work?
if we go a bit deeper now, because the main reason why I wanted to pick up the bit about the serpent, because when we read in Genesis 6, do you guys know what the name Nephilim means?
Nephilim. I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
So Nephilim those are the children of the fallen angels.
Yeah.
So when you guys are talking about the sons of God, I can understand that argument. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Nephilim relates to spirits that have been banished from the Shamaim. So we know that Hashatan was banished from the Shamaim. So he already been messing for man from time. So we're really what we just read here about Adam and Eve, Hashatan was already trying to mess with man and mess with Yah's creation. You understand what I'm coming from?
Is it this the answer?
Yeah, but he banished them.
You know
When
one
you
thing
read
we
further-
agree upon?
This verse is
I mean,
the answer to
let me
his
promote a common ground between us as Muslims
Yeah.
and you as Israelites, okay? We both believe that there are parables that are used for comprehension as creation.
Yeah.
Because we are not the all-knowing. So what Allah does, because we are His creation and He knows the way our brains work and process and function and our logic, so He creates things for us to understand on our mental level. As a creations level, humanistic level now, So I understand that there are certain parables in the Bible, and for example in the Quran there are certain texts that are contextualized for us as human beings to comprehend. Fine. Just like for example what we're saying about Genesis 6:5 to Genesis 6:8. Indeed, no problem. However, now if we were going to take this now as a hypothetical and say, okay, fine, God, the Creator created this parable for us to understand a certain symbolism or point behind it, He still felt regret. Do you understand? So now we still go back to the word Nacham. That's why I asked you if you can bring the word Nacham
whatever the book said, that's what it means.
create a context.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever the book said, that's what it means.
Hold on.
We don't have to justify nothing.
Thank you very much.
Whatever the book said, that's what it means.
One second.
Listen, whatever the book said, that's what it means.
I agree with that.
And guess
I
something
agree
now?
with that.
The Creator is perfect in all His ways. Okay?
But he felt regret.
It doesn't matter what I said.
So he's not perfect. It doesn't matter what
the Creator is perfect. Listen what I'm saying. The Creator is, no matter what you said, the Creator is perfect in all His ways. You understand? The Creator is perfect in all His ways. You understand? And if He create us, okay, and we want to destroy us, can the potter, can the clear tell the potter what to do with it? No, it is creation. It is creation.
Nobody come to
Hold on.
Listen what I'm saying.
with bad.
Listen,
You said
can it go,
I
please?
want to make him come down.
Wait.
You said earlier.
Why touch me?
Sorry for touching. You said earlier, if someone comes to you angry, you get angry. But right now, nobody's angry. He's speaking slowly.
That's why I speak, okay? That's why I speak.
Okay, wait. I must.
Listen something. The Creator is perfect. He's want to create His world. If you want to destroy it, that's His business. No one can question Him. Okay, that's His business. So for you to come and say, all this is just nonsense. The Creator do what He want to do with His creation. Simple.
Let me finish. Want to add to what I was saying before.
Sure, no problem.
So when
He
we
doesn't
look,
do whatever he
Please,
wants.
you have to stop.
Because we don't believe that. We don't believe that.
waiting for the brother, man.
Look, he's actually waiting for you to stop.
You can carry on. Don't worry.
Keep the blood pressure down. Okay, so
Move right over there.
Okay. When we look at the word Bereshit,
I'll come back to you with some other legs.
And do some research.
I will do research, don't worry.
Bless him.
I'm just going to move over there. I'm looking for Jay actually.
Okay. When we look into the word, well, obviously the world calls it Genesis, right? But when we look into the word Bereshit in the Hebrew, it actually tells the whole story of the whole scripture in the first word. When you look at the Hebrew wording of when it's actually been written in the Hebrew, regardless of what these Zionists have been telling you guys, right? It actually says that Yah will build a strong house and he'll knock it down by his own
Respectfully,
hands.
can we keep it relevant to the point?
No, this is the point. This is the point I'm talking about. Bereshit, right? The first word in the Hebrew says Bereshit, because obviously English and Hebrew is two different languages. We understand that.
Yeah, one is a Semitic language.
And when we look at the Hebrew letters, each letter has a meaning behind it. So when you look at the meaning of Bereshit and you look at the pictogram of each letter, it talks about how Yah would create a house and then destroy it by his own hands.
Okay.
Right? So then, for it to say that in the first word...
Okay. Is the word Nacham used in that parable?
No, I'm talking about the first word. I'm not even talking about the first book.
It's just in the one
First
word.
word in the book.
I'm talking about...
It's in the one word. You see, you have to understand this. They want to prove the Bible wrong, but the Bible is right. The Torah is right. Okay? The Torah is right. From Genesis to Kazan is right.
So it's never been changed?
Never been changed.
Can you talk
okay,
about that
I want you to prove to me who changed it. When was it changed? Who changed and what changed in it? Is it when was it changed?
Did you hear the
No, I'm asking a question. When was it changed? Who changed it? And what changed in it?
I don't mind taking this question for you.
I know.
Tell me.
Right.
Tell me.
Fine.
Tell me.
Can you talk about that word?
Tell me.
Bereshit. Yeah, so Bereshit, it talks about Yah would make a strong house, basically, and knock it down by his own hands. So it talks about the start of when he started the house of Israel, you could say, and then coming to
Is it literally
the people.
Okay,
The people, because when we read in Acts, it says that Yah doesn't dwell in places made of hands and
So he
stone.
met the
basically.
people and then destroyed them.
Yeah, and why
So
who
any
changed
reason
it?
why he made the
When was
people?
it changed
any reason why
and
he's
what
going
changed
to-
it?
Because he said, if you, I'll read the
Bible.
scripture. I'll read
When
the
was it
scripture.
changed?
Have you?
You can just
Who
explain.
changed it?
I would
When
explain,
was it
but
changed
I
and
found
what changed
me
it?
just talking
And I want you to
allows
read
me
the
to be
original
attacked, whereas
to
if
prove
I
to me
read that,
and show
you
me
can't
what
argue
image
with
was
this
changed.
because that's what it
Simple.
says. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right, look.
So that's the
Because
only reason why
that's
I
the only
stress
question
reading.
I
You know how you told our brother to go and do some research?
Yes.
And you gave a book yourself. You didn't even give the name of the author. I'm going to give you the name of the author, the person who actually made the claim. His name is Bartaman. So that's more than what you actually gave our
No,
brother.
I give him the author. I give him the author.
All right,
I
we're
give him
giving
the
you the
author.
name of the individual.
No, I know.
We're giving
No,
you
I
the
want.
name
No,
of
I
the
want
individual.
you. No, you.
His name is Bartaman.
Yes, no, you tell me.
Go on YouTube right now. You can find.
You tell me. Ask you a question. You may ask you a question.
Deserves an answer.
Now, let him answer. Me
Did
tell
you hear
you.
my answer?
No, you. I want you to tell me because you. No, you came out here. You come out here. All you came out here. All you came out here and said the Bible changed.
What he's demanding is impossible.
No, but but if why come out here then? Why you gonna come out here then and say the Bible changed then?
Bring the original.
You understand?
Bring us the original
You
scripture of
understand?
the Bible.
You came out here and tell us that the Bible changed. This is the original scripture of the Bible.
The original scripture
original
of the
scripture of the Bible.
the first that was preserved,
Prove to me.
was no bigger.
Prove to me.
No bigger than my
Prove
finger.
to me that this is
No
the
bigger than my
original.
finger.
Prove
That was
to
the
me.
preserved Bible.
Prove to me that
No
this is
bigger than the
original.
size of my finger.
Prove to me that this is not the original and show me what is it changed.
Did you hear
Who
what I
changed
said?
it? You understand? And when was it changed? Prove to me that this is not the original
I
Bible.
can't do this when it goes.
But the thing is, I don't want to go. I don't want to start talking about
Because the way you
about Bible being changed and stuff like that. Because when I look at the Quran, now, you guys have your own. What's his name? Caliph Uthman, who was described to have compiled the books of Islam, and there was another guy. I think his name was Barty as well. You guys, 3 men came together and decided these are the books we're going to keep in Torah. In Quran, and these books which are lost, we're not going to go after them as well. So that's a conversation I don't really want to get into. What I'm going to
More than happy for us to get.
no, this conversation I'm get into because
We can get into that.
Huh?
We can get into that.
Man, the one who compiled.
Yeah, Caliph Uthman, yeah.
He was the son-in-law of the man who wrote the
Because obviously
Revelation.
we can start talking about Shias and Sunnis and all this stuff, and I don't want to start talking about divisions amongst the people themselves. We've come here to share what the Torah is saying and prove that we're the people. That's our main
I never
focus.
once said let's look at the people. I said let's look at the text.
Yeah,
So when
what
you're
I'm-
saying I want to look at the Sunnis and the Shias, now you yourself are going to the people.
No,
I
no,
never
no,
once
no,
said
no,
people.
no, but
Did I say Trinitarians believe this and you believe that? No.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. We've come here specifically. That's what I'm saying. I haven't come to talk about that.
Yeah.
I've only
We
come.
came to speak about this.
Yeah,
didn't
and
we?
what I'm saying is by us proving that we're the people and that what the scripture says in Deuteronomy 28 is the case, we're proving that this word here is true. Because then we can start talking about. Sorry to cut you. We can start talking about political matters, right? And we can. No, I'm just going to go there. I'm going to go there. We can start talking about political matters. Start talking about Yeshayahu or the book of Isaiah, chapter 17. We can start talking about Jeremiah, chapter 49, and it talks about the war in Syria and how Damascus would be destroyed. So then, what we're seeing today is biblical prophecy.
So now, what I will say as a Muslim, we don't go to say that the scriptures of the Old Testament are not from God. We believe that they are, but we believe the original words, and we believe that it's been altered. You know, earlier when you were speaking about certain attributes of God, and you were speaking about who God was, and you saw myself and Brother Ibrahim, we were standing here, you've got a bunch of Muslims here, and none of us said, no, we disagree with that, because we agreed that those names and attributes are of God. But then we believe that, for example, you know the question I asked you about Genesis? Yeah, Genesis 6:5 to 6:8. With all respect, and I appreciate your.
No, I'm listening.
I appreciate the fact that you've been a
And
gentleman.
you don't need to
I'm
apologize.
just not. Yeah, I'm just not satisfied with the answer that you gave because you didn't address the word Nacham itself.
Okay.
And this is the word that was used to describe God or the Creator.
No, this is what I'm saying. If you're gonna come talk to me about one specific word, then you're talking to me like I'm a Christian. Because the Christian's going to say, Paul said that the law's done away
I'm
with.
asking you. I'm still asking
No. I'm going in that perspective because sorry, bro. I can't talk to you in the case of one word. This is why my brother was saying in Isaiah 8:20, we have to go there a little, here a little. We have to go through the whole scripture. That's why you mentioned Genesis 6, right? Genesis 6. That's why I went before that to show you where the true root of that whole issue was. So
I didn't
so
see
the Most High being sorry for that situation.
Yeah.
The Most High being sorry for that situation doesn't mean that he was wrong.
Why not?
Why would he be wrong?
It's a human feeling, isn't it?
It's a human attribute.
Like it says in
To feel regret, it must.
No, that doesn't mean.
Can I give
he's
you an
wrong.
analogy? For
that
example,
doesn't mean he's wrong.
Can I give you an analogy?
What we're saying is you only regret something you didn't know the outcome of.
Yeah, but
that's why you feel regret.
What did you say earlier to me? You said not truly the understanding of that word.
The sentence
If you understand where I'm coming from, because if we're going to go down that route that we don't know and the Creator is all knowing, for us to say that sorry is because of a consequence. It's kind of weak.
But with all
men, what did they do? They caused a lot of destruction on earth.
and because of that,
consequence of that
that's the
destruction.
consequence.
But that doesn't.
I'm going to leave it to that, because like I'm not getting a proper
That's fine,
solid
bro.
answer, man. But I appreciate you being a gentleman about it. Yeah, thank you. Let me shake your hand, sir. Thank you very much.
Next time,
He's asabi, you know that.
next time, don't do it again. Next time, we are brother. Don't do it again.